So in your book, you wrote these three important aspects for every diabetic should look into. One is food, the second one is exercise, and the third one, very important thing, is insulin. So where do a new guy who is just getting diagnosed should start with? At which point? Tell us, a basic things that he needs to do on all these three aspects.
The first thing anyone with diabetes needs to do, I think, is learn how to count carbohydrates and understand that the amount of insulin they take is relative to the amount of carbohydrates they eat, and that you need to know both sides of information in order for it to be a good equation, right? Then, you got to study and read every nutrition panel. And then after that, exercise is, even though it's tricky, it's really, really tricky at first, and people often get frustrated and avoid exercise because they're scared of going low. You've got to figure it out, because once you figure out the right balance, which I help you do in Chapter 9, once you figure out the right balance to keep your blood sugar stable during exercise, it will make living with diabetes so much easier, because it's like when your body is active and constantly helping to burn more calories, it's that much less work for you to keep your blood sugar down.
Okay. So tell us one best or two best tips from your book for our viewers.
Okay. One exercise tip is, first thing in the morning, check your blood sugar. And if your blood sugar is in a healthy range that you're comfortable to exercise at, my healthy range would be like 100 to 160, 180. And of course I want it, between 80 and 120, but I'm not perfect, right? So I'm opening that window a little bit. So if it's first thing in the morning, your blood sugar is in a safe range, and you haven't eaten and you haven't taken any fast-acting insulin as a bolus for food, that is a great time to go for a walk or do cardio exercise. And it should not drop your blood sugar, because it's first thing in the morning and your body is still fasting. So instead, your body is going to have to use fat for fuel instead of glucose. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So try it. And of course, bring a juice box with you just in case. But try going for a walk or a run first thing in the morning on an empty stomach with a safe blood sugar.
Okay, that's good. So I know you talked about this diabetic frustration a lot of times on the tweets and also in your website and also in your videos. So tell us, how do you overcome this diabetic frustration, which is a very important aspect for any diabetic?
I was actually just talking to my mom about this, because when I'm powerlifting, for example, or when I'm focused on being fit and training, right now I'm not powerlifting because of a back injury, but I was just given the go-ahead to start weightlifting again. And I want my blood sugars to be stable so that I can put all my energy into that. If my blood sugars aren't stable, it gets in the way of me having fun weightlifting. So it's like an outside reason to care about my diabetes. So now it's like I'm not just thinking about diabetes because I have to, because my doctor said I should. Now I'm thinking about diabetes because I really want to go weightlift and have a great time in the gym. So my suggestion to people is to find another reason why they want to have their diabetes well managed. That has nothing to do really with diabetes. It's just that you want to live that part of your life, and having diabetes under control helps you enjoy that part of your life.
That's good. So one thing people, when they see your videos or tweets, is that they feel very inspirational. Second thing is very optimistic. So how do you get all this inspiration or optimism? How do you get that? Teach the other people out there. Everyone wants to know that.
Well, when I was diagnosed, I felt sorry for myself for a day. And then I realized that everybody in the world has challenges, a whole lot of challenges that are a lot worse than the challenges I have. Everybody in the world. I don't know a single person that does not have problems they have to face every day. So I left the hospital with that attitude of, this is now part of my life. This is something I have to be responsible for. There's no room to feel sorry for myself. And when you don't feel sorry for yourself, then it's just all you have left is persistence and determination, and you do the best you can. I'm not perfect. I don't expect perfection, but I'm going to do the best I can and keep going. It's like I don't feel like there's any other option for me.
That's really inspirational. And tell us one quick tip from your book. What is the insulin and also the carb ratio, the best insulin and carb ratio that you talked in your book?
The insulin to carb ratio is something that is different for every single person. There's an average. Most people are, especially when you're younger.
Like, does it differ in the morning, afternoon, at night?
For most people, we need more insulin in the morning, probably less in the middle of the day because we're a little more active, and then a little more at night. But you'll see that I have experiments set up for you to fine-tune your insulin to carb ratio. So, for example, in the morning, I have a 1-to-5 ratio, which means I need 1 unit of insulin for every 5 grams of carbs. The rest of the day, I use like 1-to-12 or 1-to-15. So that's a lot less insulin for the rest of the day.
Okay. So the next question is the best part of living with diabetes. What's your best part of living with diabetes?
Aside from all the people I get to meet all the time and the friendships that I've made from living with diabetes, I mean, I've met some awesome people that I would have never met if I didn't have this disease. But I think it makes me stronger. I think it gives me a perspective on life and on a daily basis that I might not have had if I didn't have diabetes. I know that I can do anything that I set my mind to, and I will not let anything stop me. And I think that stems from having this immense challenge that I face every day.
Thank you so much. And tell us 1 or 2 things that you learned hard way in your whole 12 years of having diabetes.
That I learned the hard way?
Exactly.
I think the hardest thing to learn that we all struggle with on a regular basis is accepting that what we eat on a regular basis really does impact how hard it is to manage our blood sugars. When I eat really clean and I keep, all the junky carbs out of my diet, it's so much easier to live with diabetes. And when I eat more junk, it's a lot harder, and I see my blood sugar go like this. So that's something I continually, every once in a while I have a phase of junk food, and it's like, oh yeah, this is hard again, So that's an ongoing lesson.
Okay, thank you. So your final message to the DOC or any diabetic community out there?
You don't have to do it perfectly to be doing a great job, and just do your best and keep learning. You can't give up. It's not an option.
Thank you so much, Ginger, for being on the show and sharing your thoughts. I know I have a very small time slot, but we are going to go through your book and also your experiment in depth and detail in another show. And thank you so much for being on the show. And everyone who is watching this show, please go through our book. And also, Ginger tells us how to maintain your diabetes in just 3 ways. One is by eating right, by taking right amount of insulin, and doing your exercise properly every day. So diabetes is very easy when you control these 3 factors. And thank you so much, Ginger, and you have a nice day.
Good night.
Take care.